Hello, welcome to Learning Life Podcast. My name is Tadisha, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a safe place where we can both learn and unlearn a lot of things about life. Let's get started. Hello, welcome back to Learning Life Podcast. Happy New Year's. This is the first day of January 2026. And I'm grateful, thankful for this day and for this message I'm about to share. And the thing is, I want to say this real quickly. I intended to start this podcast January of last year, and I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure. But on the episode that I was releasing in January, and I said this is going to be my last episode, all of a sudden someone responded and said the episode was informative or something to that effect. And I was like, goodness, maybe I shouldn't stop. And so here it is a year later. I'm thankful for that. But speaking of the first episode, recalling something that I said in the first episode is something I think really relates to today's topic. And it's on the subject of this quote: "You betrayed yourself for nothing." If you're curious about what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the first episode. But this thing I said in episode 1 connects to what I want to talk about today. You betrayed yourself for nothing. If you live life trying to conform to a society that is going nowhere fast, and in some cases, there's this old saying, I can't really remember what they said, but going to a hot place, okay? You probably know the saying better than me. But if you're trying to fit into a society that's doing that, you are betraying yourself, your identity, your talent, and everything that God has placed in you. You're betraying it and you're giving it away for nothing. Let that soak in. So there's been a lot of talk lately, and I was inspired to talk about this a little bit also because it connected to the message I was talking about today, which is in 2nd Chronicles chapter 28. But strange enough, I was listening to a Bible study and it connected to what I was going to do. So I'm like, I'm got to talk about it all now. So I'm going to get straight to the point now, but I want to start off with a story. Okay. Bear with me. I have so much I want to say. Can't say it fast enough. It's weird to say last year, last summer. Okay. It's funny. 2025 is over. So last summer, I was traveling abroad and I was staying in, a place for a while. And the people who ran the place, well, they seemed very friendly. Um, and the woman was really, really friendly at first. And one thing that she was trying to do was, help me learn about the culture and learn about her country. It was an Asian country. I won't give a specific name, but she was very enthusiastic when she would speak with me, and she wanted me to come to her class. She was saying that she was a health instructor, fitness instructor. She offered me free yoga lessons. And she was so enthusiastic, and she was like, "You can come, just let me know, and you can come to this yoga class. It's walking distance, maybe 10 minutes walking, and you can get a free lesson." I remember her saying this to me like yesterday, but for some reason, I just didn't feel led to go. The magic words she said, free. I love free. You go shopping, you get buy one, get one free. I'm like, yes, I made a win today. If I got a buy one, get one free thing, I'm like, I got a win. So to hear the magic words free, that usually gets me. But for some reason, I wasn't led to go. And I guess because I had decided about 2 or 3 years prior, I would say like probably in the middle of the pandemic, to be honest, I had these doubts and I just said, I'm not going to do yoga no more. And I just decided not to do it anymore. I don't want to get all into the deep end about it, but you know, me and my mom used to do yoga together when I was in high school. So I guess maybe that's one of the reasons I just stopped doing it because it reminded me of that time, and so I just stopped. But the point I was saying is that so the free yoga class was very enticing and it sounded good. It sounded good. But can I tell you, if God leads you or doesn't lead you to do something, there is a reason for it. And sometimes we are not in tune enough with God to know when He's prompting us to do something and when He's prompting us not to do something and not to trust something. And so the point here is that it seemed harmless to get an invitation to go to a yoga class. It seemed harmless and it was free. But can I tell you something I've learned? Nothing is free in life. Everything comes at a cost. And so now I want to tie this into Second Chronicles chapter 28. And it is about a king who reigned in Israel. His name was King Ahaz. 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 And this young king came into power in his 20s, and he was wicked. He was far from God. And it says how basically he began to do things like the other societies at his time, which were very powerful. That would be the Syrian kingdoms and, the like in that region. And so King Ahaz decided that he was going to worship the same gods as those kingdoms of Syria because he thought that their gods had power. I want to encourage you to read the whole chapter 28 of Second Chronicles, and you can get more details in it. But I'm just going to jump to verse 23, which I think it pretty much sums up the point. It says, this is speaking of Ahaz. Well, let's start at verse 21. For Ahaz took away a portion out of the house of God, out of the house of the Lord, and out of the house of the king, and of the princes, and gave it unto the king of Assyria. But he helped him not. And in the time of his distress did he trespass yet more against the Lord. This is that King Ahaz. For he sacrificed unto the gods of Damascus, which smote him. And he said, because the gods of the kings of Syria helped them, therefore will I sacrifice to them that they may help me. But they were the ruin of him and of all Israel. Ending it there at verse 23. So, translation, King Ahaz took what belonged to God and he gave it to the king of Assyria. And it says the king of Assyria did not respond to these gifts. And it says in the time of distress, Ahaz continued to do the wrong thing. He did not change his mind. He kept doing the wrong thing. He kept trespassing. And then it says he continued to make sacrifices to the gods of Damascus, which smote him. Isn't that interesting? Because I think this is really talking about the average person who oftentimes is struggling, and they don't realize they're struggling because of what they're giving their attention to. And they're giving all their attention and all their energy to something that's not real, because you see what's popular on social media and what's going on in the world. You think, if I do like what they're doing, then I'll get that success. And that's what Ahaz was trying to do. He said, I want to do like that king in Assyria is doing. And I'll do like he does. I'll sacrifice to these idols, to these gods, these man-made things. And then all of a sudden, I'll be just like him. But Ahaz forgot the true living God. And he became an idol worshiper. And that was his downfall, because he sacrificed to a God other than the true and living God. If you hear what I'm saying, then you probably already know how easy it is to think that if you conform to the patterns of the world, what's popular, what looks good, what looks successful, the recipe that you see people use to gain success in the world, you'll realize that it is a deception and it is a lie. And a lot of times, if you don't know the truth, you'll continue to try to do what you see is being done, thinking that you're going to get results. But you don't understand that the results of the world, it is deception and it's vanity, just like that king of Syria. And that's the funny thing, is King Ahaz was trying to get validation or approval from king of Assyria. So we can say the king of Assyria represents the world, the world in the essence of a person who is thoroughly opposite of everything God teaches us to be. Because I don't want you to think, oh, I'm a worldly person, so this message is not for me. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that king of Assyria represents the opposite of God. And that's a total different conversation to go into, and I don't want to go into that. But the point here is that King Ahaz was trying to imitate what he saw. And he was young and he didn't know any better. And so he thought that if he could worship and sacrifice to the idols that the king of Assyria was, that he would be like that king of Assyria. And the funny thing is, the more he did it, the further he got from God, and the less that he even got the validation he wanted from the king of Assyria. And that's so strange. If you go into verse 21, it says, he gave things that belonged to God to the king of Assyria, but he helped him not. But the king of Assyria helped him not. And that's a lot of times how it is in the world. You can try to please people in the world, and the more you try to please them, they're like, well, that's nothing. And it's like, when the world gets you, it really wants you to get all messed up. You know what I'm talking about. It's like all the things that have people corrupt right now. Drugs and pornography and all that. So you think, oh, if I know a little bit about it, then I can handle it. No. Once you get a little, the world wants you to go all the way in. So if you get something from this message, remember that the king of Ahaz was deceived into thinking that if he imitated the king of Assyria, that he would be like him. So he was deceived. And as another Bible verse says, a little leaven leavened the whole lump. King Ahaz had the potential to be a good and godly king, but he gave way to idolatry and he lost his faith. All right, so I hope this message blessed you, and I hope you tune in next week. Next week, I'm going to continue, and I want to talk about the King Hezekiah. So it's kind of the next chapter of the same book. Take care. Stay blessed. Have a happy holiday. Peace. This is Learning Life Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you learned something, that you enjoyed this episode. If you want to support this podcast, please subscribe. Thank you so much. See you next week.